Welcome to Kabuteri Cafe, where this week we're going to be talking about the set of World Convergence known as BT21 and all the new cards that we have for the Pauper format. We're your hosts, Jack, and I'm joined here by Richard today.
Hey guys.
And we're going to go through all the wacky things, like all the adventure cards that hopefully you don't play because I hate that with a burning passion, and all the other fun things. And we're going to go through, and we're going to be talking through cards that we think are going to be high impact, low impact, not playable in Pauper, and just some of our own little favorites. But I kind of want to start off just kind of for fun. And Richard, I'll kind of ask you here as well, and we'll ask our viewers to comment on theirs. But what is your favorite deck, and what's your biggest villain deck? The deck that people hate when you play.
Oh, do you mean just in general in all of Digimon, or just in Pauper?
No, in general.
In general, it's now been Royal Knights. Right now, me playing Royal Knights.
That's your favorite or your villain,
both?
Both?
So currently, it's my favorite in what I'm playing right now. But it's definitely the villain. My favorite deck I've probably ever played in Digimon was in BT13 was Blackboard Greymon. I really did love.
That's a fun one.
That meta, and I loved how that deck tried to control the pace of the game. It was a lot of fun, and I felt like I was making good decisions. So for me, that was that big one for me.
Gotcha. Yeah, so for me, I feel like my favorite is probably back around when I first started. Well, a few sets in. That was probably like BT6 Titamon. And I think that's really just because I loved the trash effects and being able to just straight up trash your Skull Greymon and just get that retaliation and all the shenanigans. But my villain deck, I'm going to go with villain deck historically, was probably Jesmon, like good old BT6 Jesmon. I think everyone hated me for that one. Rightfully so.
Understandable. I thought you were going to say Grandis for some reason, but...
Well, yeah, but the issue, I want to say Grandis, but I wouldn't always win when I played with Grandis. Even though I would have like the perfect lineup, I somehow would just brick looking for a tamer or an option, or just somehow not seeing the Grand Kawaga promo, and then Grand Kawaga promo was hit, and then it was just lights out.
Bad news bears.
Yeah, you hate to see it. Yeah. Anyway, with that aside, let us know in the comments if what's your favorite deck, what's your villain deck, just so that our comments interaction is more than just should the ban list be in effect in Pauper or not. Just thought that'd be a fun thing because our last videos were all about the ban list. So we'll jump right into it with this set with the Digimon egg. And so it is always nice to have, for me at least, the cards that follow along like an evolution line and being able to play those. And historically, we think of Digimon as Guilmon. And although there are some of those cards, this is specifically for Medusamon and Dragonkin. So for me, I see this card as definitely an impact card because it's starting towards an archetype, the Dragonkin archetype, that obviously we see a lot of in Medusamon, the super rare, but there are a lot of those cards still in Pauper, and there's a big one that we'll talk about in a bit. But how do you feel about this card, Richard? Do you think it's an impact card?
So this card is really interesting because you're looking at it from a Dragonkin perspective, and I'm looking at it from the Reptile perspective because it's also support for Tyrannomon. And
that's right.
You can run it with a lot of the dinosaur stuff, which is already a lot of dinosaur stuff has been doing well in Pauper. Stuff obviously you have Dino Rex, right? One of the better level 6s for red. You have the level 5 Tyrannomon Digimons that are both really good. Either the metal that de-digivolves and gives protection for itself, or I want to say it's the Master Tyranno that has Fortitude. Like both very, very strong level 5s that you would be able to go into. And I need to check the ruling on this card because the way this is worded too is when the security stack is removed, because of how timing works, as long as it's not an option, you would get the Digivolve before combat of the security, I believe.
Oh,
Because
wow, that's actually a good question. I believe you're right, but that is definitely a rule to look into.
Know. But because normally how it would work is you hit an option, options have priority, you'd get smoked off the face of the planet, whatever it does, you won't get effect. But it's kind of like the Koromon egg, where the Koromon egg, as long as you don't hit an option, you've checked the security and you triggered a Koromon egg regardless of how the battle goes, because you check the security and the Koromon egg is going to trigger first. So I'm curious if you'll check the security's been removed and you're allowed to Digivolve right before the combat, or if you do have to survive the combat. I'm not 100% sure.
I think the battle is after.
Yeah, normally battle is
going back.
Yeah, go on.
Going back many sets, I think that's the case.
So I think if that is the case, that makes this card arguably even better, because it means that your level 3, level 4 can go check security, and assuming you don't hit an option, you Digivolve for reduced cost. If you're running like the Tyrannomon that gets a reduced cost for the rest of the turn by 1, then you Digivolved into your level 5 for 1 after checking security. If you're going into the Fortitude, Master Tyranno, it doesn't matter if security would have killed you because you hit that, the Fortitude triggers, you come back anyway. So I think it's
so gross.
I think this card actually could be really, really good. The downside of it is a red egg and you're giving up Koromon draw potential. But I think
this is better. Oh my goodness, yeah. No, this is I think this is better.
I think
because you can almost use it as pseudo jamming too. Like you see what's there, and if you have multiple options of what to evolve up to, you could just pick a DP that goes over it.
You could potentially. So it's interesting. I also don't know. This is where it gets really complicated, right? And this is where I really need to look at the rulings. What happens if you're starter deck 1 Greymon, right? You starter deck 1 Greymon, you're swinging security, and you check the first security and then you Digivolve after checking the first security. Do you get that second security check now? Because now you just got the inheritable.
I don't believe you do, because I think that effect is put. No, I think that is declared like you the amount of security is on when attacking. I believe
that would probably make sense and probably be for the best. But my brain is
there are certain cards that allow you to get extra security when attacking. Like, what is it, BT2 or BT5 Argomon, that when attacking, it gets the security attack +1 for each suspended Digimon. So I believe that is when it is. Gosh, man, this is a weird ruling.
Yeah, so again, this is everyone take this with a grain of salt. We need to look more into the rulings of this card because it's not out yet, and I'm curious.
And it could all be wrong. You could just ignore everything we've said so far.
I could be absolutely wrong, but I do think this is a good card, both in terms of what this provides for Medusamon, obviously as a design, but I think also in terms of Pauper, potential Dino support. Good card. I'm curious to see what people do with it. The downside of it is the Koromon egg is just so good for giving you draw potential. But I think this is still probably the next best egg I've seen for red and Pauper.
And it's Liberator, just to throw that in there too.
That matters actually for, well, no, I guess it doesn't matter as much because all the Liberator searchers are rares, so it doesn't actually matter.
Yep. Yeah.
Tragic.
That's also an egg, so.
Yeah, that does matter. My brain ran away too much.
Okay, moving on. I swear we won't talk this long. So the Gurimon. So yeah, always good to have Gamamon support. It's a when attacking once per turn. If this Gamamon in its text, oh my gosh, that's definitely a typo. If this Digimon, oh no, it's not. I just can't read. If this Digimon has Gamamon in its text or the hero trait, draw 1. So it's decently good. Always good to get draw, but it has to be Gamamon. So
well, it's also designed for the hero archetype, which is the second archetype this set is supposed to be new, because you have the hero and you have adventure. Because the hero archetype is shoving all the protagonist Digimon together and letting them kind of just like cheat Digivolve on top of each other.
Yeah.
I don't think it will see. I don't think hero archetype you'll see a lot of in Pauper, because you don't like, you'd have to get really funky at the top end. Maybe I'll see more play than I think, but I do think this gives Gamamon like another egg, and there is enough Gamamon pieces from the old stuff and some of the new stuff we'll read about that you probably could make some type of like kind of Gamamon bottom end for a deck. The issue would be your top end. You wouldn't be able to stay true Gamamon line, because they do not have access to a level 6 that is like in archetype, and they have exactly one level 5, I believe, specifically, which is the Cannon Weiss that comes out in this set. So you'd have to get a little funky on the top end, and it'd probably be a little creative and interesting. But I mean, it's a draw egg. It's for Gamamon and hero archetype. It's probably fine.
Yeah, that's fair. It's just draw power. Draw power is good, and that's kind of the same one with this Yokomon. When any of your Wind Guardian, WG, I mean, you can call that acronym what you will. I've heard some pretty funky ones, but Wind Guardian trade Digimon are played, draw 1. So I am just so mad with the Wind Guardian archetype, because as you know, Richard, I used to play Refleximon back in BT5. It's one of the super rares that we have not gotten an alt art for. It's one of the only ones.
Yep.
And they showed Refleximon in the Wind Guardians option card, and now every time I see that, I'm just gonna be mad. So cool, it's draw power.
It is draw power. My problem with it is that it's another one of those situations where within the archetype you don't have, it's a little bit better than I think Gamamon, where you do have like a full bottom line. Out of this set, you have 2 full lines. The issue is you don't have a level 6, but I think you substitute it with the the level 6 Bluebird from
Goldramon?
No.
Is it Blue Goldramon? No.
Bird. It's the Xiaoping.
Oh, Xiangpengmon. Xiangpengmon.
Yeah,
Goodness.
I think that's what you would run, just because Wind Guardians allows you to also search Bird and Avians.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's actually a good call. Yeah,
it's a blue top end. The issue is that like the deck is blue green, so it would only work on like half the deck. I don't know. There's potential, but
yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah, definitely.
Another drawing, you know.
Yeah, I could definitely see it. I could definitely see it played with Xiangpengmon. So yeah, I'd say that's a decently impact card. So moving on, we got Yellow Coromon, because your boy smash Digimon with your fists. He's getting some support.
Marquise.
And this one has the inheritable your turn once per turn. When any of your yellow or red tamers suspend, draw 1.
I will say it right
Gross.
now. I think this card for Pauper is garbage.
Yep.
You don't have. There's not enough red or yellow tamers that also consistently suspend enough to get you card draw that you wouldn't just run probably another egg.
Yeah, and there are no common or uncommon Marcuses, so haha.
Pain.
I hate Shine. I hate Shine so much. I enjoyed one of my favorite moments as a Digimon player. And sorry, viewers that were only on card 5, and we've talked for so long already. But this is my good tangent. I was playing against some Shine players, and this one Shine player was like, I got the best deck and I should be winning. And I came in there with Rosemon, and I crushed him.
I'm happy for you. Proud.
Beautiful. I was like, Rosemon burst mode, taking down Shine. Granted, was I a good green suspend player? Yeah. So that was nice. Take down Shine, everyone, when you can. I almost moved right past this. So we do have Appmons coming out with this, and I already looked at the numbers. You cannot run an Appmon deck currently in Pauper. There's not enough cards. So instead of just saying, hey, these have 0 impact in Pauper, we can give slight comments on, will this be good for the archetype in the future? Because currently you cannot run Appmons. There's 7 cards total, I believe, and an egg, which is good to have the egg. But yeah, I think you can only have like 28 cards currently for Appmon in Pauper, at least.
It's the issue is that like you can run like some bottom line, but you're missing out on any form of top line, and it's hard to go from like it's hard to take advantage of Appmon than switching to like normal Digimon, because you want they all have, instead of having inheritables, they have links. Like that's their gimmick, is linking kind of inheritables, which is like a new mechanic. So it get a little messy. I mean, someone will probably figure something out that's kind of interesting, but I'm sure in like 2 sets from now, maybe 3, Appmon stuff will be like real in Pauper, or more real, where it has like enough stuff that you can probably do something really unique and creative.
Yeah, I mean, it works with the cards that are here, at least. There are option cards that help you to link, and we'll talk about this all, but for this egg alone, yeah, it's great. It's the main egg for the Appmon archetype currently, and it's going to be just as good in Pauper. It just gets you once per turn a draw, because you're going to be linking hands down. You get an extra draw once per turn.
Yeah.
So that's good. Yeah, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
High impact when it comes out.
when it works.
In three sets when you can actually play it.
Yeah.
So moving on. The Sumamon, it's for Vempmon. It's for Galacticmon. All turns, this Digimon, with 4 more Vempmon Digivolution cards, gets plus 3,000 DP. Outside of Pauper, it's great. And Pauper, that don't fly.
So I thought about this, actually. And
try it?
I don't know, like, I thought how wacky it would be to play, like a Venmon engine into like an all turns redirect blocking Digimon that's sticky, where you're big because you have the 3k DP all turns, and maybe you're the old Ground Locomon.
Mechanori? Oh, Ground Loco.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's a Mechanori. Yeah, that's fair.
Because I want to say the old Ground Loco, I think, was all turns, right? All turns DP for every cyborg machine and trash. Again, it's probably not amazing, but it would be funny. The problem is that all the Galacticmon line are unknown. They're not like machines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for fun, I did look, and this was something I was going to show later, but we're going to show it now. I wanted to make it work because I wanted to see, okay, let's look at the price from high to low on TCG Player for this upcoming set for commons and uncommons. And what is the only card over a quarter? This beautiful Vempmon alt art. So it's got the cool Liberator art that they've been doing with the entire line in the background, which I absolutely love. But I thought about it. I didn't think you could do it, so I moved right on past it.
Understandable.
Yeah. But, I mean, for Vempmon, it's great.
Yeah.
If you can make it work in Pauper. But let us know in the comments if you found some cool way to run Vempmon and run that egg. If you find a way to make it work, yeah, it's probably going to be really helpful.
Yeah.
So moving on. Sorry. You can go, Richard.
I was going to say low impact card. That's all.
Yeah. So moving on to the reptile archetype, and not the adventure, thank goodness. You get an on-play Agu. You may return one Digimon card with a reptile or dragonkin trait from your trash to the hand. So I think that's pretty great because, as you mentioned earlier, that's all of the Tyranno stuff as well.
It's some of it. It's not all, because some of the Tyranno stuff will be
Yeah, not
dinosaur
all. A lot.
instead of
Yeah.
reptile is like the kind of the problem. But it still does let you grab stuff, and I think that's cool.
Yeah. Well, it's mostly just, I mean, like, that's great because there are a lot of cards with that archetype. Sorry, with that typing. So you can make it work. It might not be the perfect Tyrannomon build, but you can definitely make it work for what it wants to do. And that your turn, this Digimon gets plus 2000 DP. That's just so good in Pauper for a level 3. That's absurd.
Yeah. Oh, I do want to go back to one thing I was mentioning about the Digimon egg. I had to double check it because I was a little wrong on regrettably a lot of the Tyrannomon line, once you get to level 4 and above, all counts as dinosaur and not reptile. So it wouldn't be as good with that. It would really just be like Dragonkin and then like Medusumon line for that Digimon egg.
Gotcha. Well, there's still the really gross card that we're going to be coming upon soon.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm so mad. But it's pretty great. So moving on, we're back to the hero archetype or Gammamon. So this one, yeah, it's good for Gammamon, but again, as we mentioned, you don't really have the top end. But if you want to run that Gammamon bottom end, yeah,
because
exactly,
its effect will never trigger in Pauper because there's not a serious spawn you can warp into.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Pauper, yeah, null and void.
Yeah.
Then moving on to Shoutmon, yay, more cross support for Pauper. If cross wasn't already an extremely difficult deck,
I would
to get
say
around.
This is not. You don't have to worry about this in Pauper. I don't think this Shoutmon. I don't think is going to show up in Pauper.
Yeah, and that's because, well, it depends. If you play the Omni Shoutmon,
I still don't think you run it.
You potentially could.
You potentially could, but so there are so many Shoutmons you have access to, and so many of them have more consistent ability of they search or they play Tamers for free, that I don't think the one that digivolves into Omni Shout is worth it. Maybe you run it as like a one of for a situation, but I really do think this is not the one you care about compared to literally like the
last one.
and any of them, like the BT10 one being the one that searches. You have, I want to say, was it the BT12 one can play a Taiki for free. There's like the newest one from the last set that on deletion you look at top 3 cards and you can play a Tamer. And they're all basically they all have the same inheritable. So like I don't know. It's not. I don't think this one's worth it, but it is functional and still good for a Pauper deck. But I don't think it's what you'd run.
That's fair. Well, it's still got that rush on the bottom. So if for some reason you want to run this one, well, it's still got that annoying Shoutmon cross. Yeah.
I'm just saying all of them have the rush.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, they all do. That's the point of Shoutmon. So yeah, moving on. Red hybrid stuff. I don't think this works because you don't have the red tamers with inheritables to play.
You don't, and it's just not. Yeah, red hybrid can just be ignored. It's not a real, and currently it is not real in Pauper. Maybe in the future, but not now.
Goodness, it's so nice to be able to say that. I was trying to make it work, but yeah, you basically try to have like your Owen. That's one of the better. It's basically I'd say the better red tamer in Pauper. There's not many options really. Yeah, and then it's also just like the hero. So granted, so many of these cards are about to roll through. They have the hero trait, and they talk about the hero trait. So yeah, we're not going to run them for hybrids, but you could potentially use them in a hero trait deck if you want to work with that. So I think those ones pretty decent for its when attacking ability to be able to Digivolve into a hero trait Digimon card in the hand. But then it's still just your top end. What do you have? And in Pauper, we don't really have that. Then that's kind of the same with the other ones. Actually, never mind. The Burning Greymon's even worse because it doesn't have the hero trait. So even worse.
Yeah, it's a little funky. You'd realistically, man, I don't know. You'd want to run some weird variation of the old, or like the Aguni that when attacking go to a Burning Gray.
Yeah, you could do that.
And then you just swing big with piercing, maybe, I don't know, and then you hit the security and you digivolve into a hero or a hybrid trait Digimon, like you go into an Aldemon, or you. But like again, it's because you don't have the red tamers. It just feels like a really weird red deck.
What would one say, Richard, that it's almost playing the beast version of the deck without the sorry, that's an anime nerd moment there.
Yeah, I mean, kind of, yeah, honestly.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Dragon Kid. So a security effect Digimon. So always nice to see. Not awful in Pauper. There are a couple of them. So play it out of security. It's great. On play, when Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4,000 DP or less. Inheritable. For some reason, these all have plus 2k DP, which I'm so mad at Bandai for the power creep of these inheritables, which is crazy. So it's pretty good.
This card is just better BT4 Geogreymon. The red one that, I want to say is BT4. The one that plays itself from security and deletes a 4k DP. This just has it both on play and when digivolving, and has an inheritable. So it works for funny security Digimon deck in Pauper, where if you just run all the funny security Digimon that play themselves out and do a funny effect, it can clear a board. It makes yourself big. It's like a fine level 4 red Digimon if you don't know what to put in your deck, and it does happen to work with like Dragonkin archetype.
Yeah, and it's only like a level. It's only a 2 cost to Digivolve and 5 play cost if you're just going to slam it down. Pretty good. I honestly think this is a great level 4 for Pauper.
No, I don't think it's definitely not the best, but I think it's going to be
not solid. The best, but it's good.
Very solid.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
So finally getting another good Shoutmon King version. For Cross, it's got raid and piercing. The raid is nice. I like that for Cross. How do you feel about that as someone who also plays this deck and more than I do?
I don't care for this card at all. It feels like something that just gums up your deck with extra stuff. Like you are wasting a slot in your deck for this card. So.
Well, so think about it this way. It also has that 2,000 DP inheritable.
I don't care about that.
Do you not find even in the mirror match that you sometimes want that extra 2,000? Or no, because you're getting DP reductions a lot of the times as well for your opponent.
So a lot of times, depending on how you want to play, it is sometimes more advantageous. If you're swinging security, it's sometimes more advantageous to just die in security and then just digicross again.
Exactly.
So getting bigger DP doesn't sound that great. Having bigger DP to maybe force a collision with Cross 5 or to use Burning Star Crusher to out a body, that makes sense. But I still hate the idea of using this as this one specifically. Unlike some of the other King versions, this one can only be used as a Shoutmon. So it is effectively taking the spot of a Shoutmon in your deck, and it's not giving you Rush, which in my opinion is bad.
You always want those Shoutmons for Rush, definitely.
And Raid is not that cool when you're like a 5k body.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like it's you're not doing any like super crazy plays with a 5K body, in my opinion. But that's my
Yeah, well, I
opinion
think
on
the
it.
idea is that you'd have that 2000 DP Shoutmon underneath, but if all you
No,
want with those
there's no, but
Shoutmons
there
is
no, because all the
this one,
Shoutmons,
I mean, if you were oh goodness, no, I'm thinking of all the other cards like,
yeah,
this Gamamon.
because it can
Yeah.
digicross with any cross heart card. So it would get any one of the
Yes.
inheritables, be it, it could get Rush on itself, it could get Blocker, it could get Piercing, it could get, honestly, even Collision. But, like,
Yeah.
none of those feel great for what you'd be paying for to play it.
Yeah.
Or you have to digivolve on top of
I don't think
it.
it's playable.
I don't
Yeah.
I don't think
That's
it's
fair.
I think there is you're already running, like, on my build, I think I'm running like 7 Shoutmons, and I can't imagine myself putting this in that, and like, or even taking out a Shoutmon for something that doesn't net me a tamer.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
So moving on, as I see, we're taking up a lot of time. We probably need to be going faster. Really, there's not a ton of cards, which is fine. It's probably still shorter than many set reviews, but goodness, with the number of cards here, we're going slow. So this card's great right from the start. I think anytime you can play one of your tamers for the archetype, the red Owen is good. I think
So
this card's good. Do you disagree with me?
It's good. It's only good though because Owen's an uncommon.
Because Owen is an uncommon.
It's only,
exactly.
Yeah. I was
Owen
like,
is a great uncommon in
it's
Pauper.
Yeah, that's the only reason it's good. But I mean, we see that the reptile dragonkin archetype for liberators has a bunch of support, and as a bottom line, it works like fine, and you get a tamer out of it, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. And the inheritable, you gain a mem when security stack is removed from.
Pretty good. You get the
Yeah.
memory even if you die in battle, so pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. So we don't have any heroes that are common or
Nope.
uncommon.
So guess
correct?
what? We don't. So this Battle Gamamon is trash. It's bad.
Booty.
It's
Nice.
booty. It lets you not play hero in Pauper. So not very good.
Love to see it.
Yeah.
Moving on, I love Gamamon. I don't actually love to see it. I'm saddened by that. So moving on, back to Cross. So Omni Shoutmon.
This card I do think is good. I don't know how
yeah.
good it actually is, but the important things about this card is it counts as a Shoutmon for Digicrossing, and it gives Rush, which is like the really important part. The other reason it's nice is because if you do swing with it, you get to play a cost reduce 5 from your hand cross art card, and it could be a tamer or it could be a Digimon, and then you'd get their on plays, and then you delete this guy, and when you delete it, you effectively get
It's
to place
nutty.
you get to place something from hand or trash under one of your tamers and then save it. So even if you didn't have a tamer out, you could swing with this, use its effect at end of attack, play out a tamer, use its effect to slot something into the tamer, and then slot it into the tamer, and that's just good. But the only downside is
You can't play the Nene off of it.
you can't play
because she's just Twilight.
She's Twilight. Twilight Composite, I think the new one is. So
Search this up in 2 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. The big thing is she would play the Taiki, or this plays a Taiki, and it could play the Kiriha if we got a Kiriha that was good in Crossheart.
Yeah, General Twilight.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But I do think this card has potential. It still feels a little funky, but it because it digivolves off of any level 4 with Crossheart and trait. It could go over a Darulu. It could go over a Ballista.
Yeah.
So there's no restriction on that. Again, maybe it's not that amazing. I think it's better than most things, potentially.
Yeah. I do think it's playable.
Yeah.
I definitely think it's playable in Crossheart Pauper, which is the important part.
Yeah.
Decently high impact. So moving on to more Gamamon support. I mean, hero support.
I'm gonna move past this fast. I don't think this card
Actually,
is
wait,
good.
no, never mind. It doesn't have the hero support. No, it's literally just Gamamon.
It's just Gamamon. I don't think this card is very good. Because you can slot a Gamamon in text card from your hand to delete something with 7k or less DP. That's kind of cool, but its inheritable will probably never trigger because when this Digimon is Gamamon in its text and it would leave the battle area, you can trash 3 cards from its evolution cards to not leave. You'd have to have a level 6 in Pauper with Gamamon in text, which you don't.
Or you could have this slotted in from other stuff underneath another one of them, or underneath a level 4. But at that point, like, who cares? Are you really gonna try to save like
you still need
any of your level 4 Gamamons?
Yeah, and you still need 3 sources at least.
Yeah, it's not good in Pauper.
No,
yeah,
no, not good.
Sorry, Kano Weissman. Moving on to Cyberdramon. So this also counts as Dragonkin, which is nice, and Cyborg for any of the cyborg machine shenanigans.
Yep.
And has an on-play when digivolving. If your opponent has 5 or fewer security cards, they place 1 card from their hand as the bottom security card, then trash their top security card. So this is great. And the inheritable is plus 4,000 on your turn.
Plus 4k DP, which means this card actually also replaces the old Metal Grays for Machine Dramon. I just want to bring that up. The 3k DP ones.
I hate that
because this
much.
This one has an on play in case you slam it down. But I do think it's an interesting card. I don't know if I think its effect is going to be amazing in Pauper. Because it's supposed to coincide with Medusamon's, you force them to remove a security, therefore you get to trigger all her tokens and all her whatnot, like deleting token things.
Yeah. Well, what you could do is you could also use it with the Digimon, to digivolve up to a level 6 reptile.
Or Dragonkin.
Or Dragonkin. Yeah. And true. I think that part is extremely important.
That part is real.
Say you digivolve end of turn to this, you're digivolving from a level 4 to a level 6 to end your turn.
Yeah, for a reduced cost too. So that's kind of nice.
For a reduced cost. Yeah. I think that's awesome. And obviously, the plus 4,000 DP is only on your turn. But I think that's pretty darn good.
My biggest
for a 3 cost Evo.
My biggest fear with this card is it allows your opponent to stack their security to some degree. Because they put something at the bottom. They get to put what they want in their hand at the bottom. So if you're playing a matchup against a deck, which in Pauper is not uncommon to be fighting a deck that has access to Heaven's Judgment or something else, they could slot that in as the bottom security. And that can be a little spooky, depending on the deck that you're fighting. So that's my only fear with this card is you are technically giving your opponent potential ammunition to clap back when you check that security. But, not every deck will probably be this option heavy, but the decks that can take advantage of it, I think, will definitely kind of punish you for doing that to them.
Yeah. That's fair. And then moving on to the one card they should not have printed in Pauper, which is the one thing
we finally
has not had a bloody War Greymon.
We get a War Greymon. I've been waiting for this day.
I concede.
Yeah. This is great. It's got Rush Raid Blocker. It can reduce its play cost by 2 for each of your opponent's Digimon. So that's pretty cool. So against Swarm decks, you just play it really cheap. It's going to raid, and then whenever your opponent's Digimon are deleted, it gets to unsuspend. I think this card is going to be hilarious when people run it with, Grapleomon as the level 5. From what is it, BT11? BT12?
I think it's 11.
It's one where...
one of them.
Or Durandalmon, right? where if you delete Digimon in battle, you get to trash top security, and you can run it with all like the Bearmon line, where when you attack target change, they all give like plus 3k DP.
Yeah, the Marsmon line
Yeah,
minus
essentially,
Marsmon
yeah,
in Pauper.
yeah. I think that would be really good. On top of now, you have all the Dragonkin stuff in this set that gives like plus 2k, plus 3k. You can run Agumon, Greymon line stuff because really all you were missing was a War Gray and Metal Gray that were good, and now you got that. I think this card is good. I'll just say that. I think this card is very, very good. I think Red finally got a second very good top end because in Pauper right now, the red top ends you see are just Dino Rexmon and the red black Cannondramon. I think it's nice to see
Yeah.
something else that might be played.
Yeah, Red did need weapons. Red had really a good bottom end, but it didn't have a good level 6. This is finally the great Pauper Red level 6 that Red was desiring. Unfortunately, it's a War Greymon, so
Again,
Richard's going to be way too happy.
Yeah, that's like immediately what I'm going to be building.
Yeah, that's fair. What I'm going to be immediately slotting into one of my decks is this new Sangomon. I am very happy about this. Honestly, Ancient Mermaidmon or Xiangpengmon, it needs more level 3s. Because there weren't great level 3s to put in there. There's the Swimmon and the other Sangomon. And then honestly, I was just filling my deck with level 4s and 5s. And so many of them play out things from underneath. And you want to have those end of attacks, gain a memory, or the searches, or the reduced evolutions. Because at times, especially with the Calmarimon, you want to be going into a level 4 from a level 3 and not just playing it as blue hybrid. You want to be going up the line. So having this is very good, and I'm very happy to have this new Sangomon for Ancient Mermaidmon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. For me, high impact, because I'm going to be playing it. So
There you go.
I don't care what anyone else says. High impact.
Going on to the
Moving
Vmon, I will immediately say I think this card will be a high impact card. It is a Vmon with a 2k DP inheritable, and its big thing is that when it digivolves into a hero trait, that I don't care about. When it digivolves into an armor form, reduce the digivolution cost by 1. To kind of quickly speed over some stuff, this set gives Vmon uncommon armors, which Vmon did not have access to besides the Sethmon from like BT16. Now, the Vmon armor deck has access to Flamedramon and Lightdramon, both in uncommon, which means that you have access to 3 level 4 armor pieces, which means you can basically play armor Vdramon or Vmon, which has a ton of support in terms of options, has a ton of support in terms of amazing Vmons that either search or digivolve for cheap. You miss out on some of the like rare Vmons that like give you memory when you unsuspend and you don't have access to Magnamons, but I think that's okay. You have enough stuff kind of going on with these that I think the deck will be real. And I think this Vmon will just be gas to get you going really fast.
Oh, yeah. And if you just play Demi Vmon, then you're good to go.
Well, you're
for Digivolve for 0.
Yeah, well, you're going to be running the Demi Vmon that we got that has plus 1k DP if you're 2 colors.
Yeah, exactly.
Because all your armors are 2 colors.
Yeah.
And half your Vmons you're going to be running are 2 colors anyway. So even if you have to swing with a Vmon, you're going to get the 1k DP anyway. And this card is also amazing because when you swing and you hit security and your armor crashes and breaks, you still can just digivolve on top of this Vmon for the reduced cost of 1. The reduced cost is always during your turn active. So you always have access to it. It's not like a once per turn. So you just can keep armoring up for a reduced cost, which is super nice.
Yeah, I was basically waiting for this stuff because when Pauper first came out, one of the things that I wanted to do was play armor. Not necessarily Vmon armor, but I was looking at all the different Patamon armors, the different Wormmon armors. those exist in Pauper. Do they work well together? Absolutely not. So this is finally, I think, giving armor a good shot because it has, funny enough, plasma shot, armor texture, fire rocket. All the option cards have been sitting there waiting for the good armor line for Pauper.
Not to mention, eventually we'll get to it. There's the Armor Digivolution card it gets now in this set that is also very good.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, that card, massively high impact. Less of an impact, although still a decently good one, is Floramon. So this is back to the Wind Guardians, which is it's a searcher on play, which is good because you're going to be playing things out. Unfortunately, though, it's vegetation, which for some of these we wanted not aquatic, we wanted avian.
So I think ultimately how you're going to build this for Pauper is you're going to run just the blue line of Floramon, Kiwimon, Daramon, and you're going to run then the Xiaopingmon line. Like the
Shiquaimon all the way up to Xiangpengmon. Yeah, that's fair.
And I think that will make your deck consistent enough. It stays all blue, so you don't have to worry about like weird funky color issues. That's what I think you would do. But I don't know. I'd have to play around with it more.
Yeah. Once again, it's another jamming in inheritable for blue, so nothing they didn't already have.
But it's a jamming searcher.
Yeah, but they like all have jamming now. So, but that's the issue though. Is the Shiquaimons? Sorry, I keep bouncing around. The level 4 Shiquaimons both have jamming.
Yeah.
So you're not gaining anything there in the avian line in your inheritables because there is a 85% chance you already have jamming in your line.
Yeah, the Biomon also has jamming.
Yeah. So that's kind of rough. So that's why I don't think it's that great. Is because you already have that. And it's the same with this Kiwimon, which is all turns when this Digimon suspends, draw 1. Yeah. I don't think it's that great. If this was a 1 cost to Digivolve, yeah, that'd be a different story. But I don't think it's that great.
I mean, I think the idea of it being it's going to go into a level 4, it's going to have jamming most likely, and you swing jamming, draw 1. I think that's why that's kind of okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, not like amazing, but it's like it's okay. I don't know.
Yeah. So moving on, we'll go into the armors, which we kind of already touched upon. We'll just talk about the effects real quick, and if we think they're good, which, they are. Flamedramon. Flamedramon usually adds DP when digivolving or when attacking. So this Digimon gets plus 2,000 DP until your opponent's turn ends. So that's actually pretty nice. But a lot of times with armor, you're at times wanting to purge to get out another Vmon to be able to do more shenanigans. But it is still good. And when this Digimon's attack target changes, it unsuspends.
So I think in this deck, in Pauper version, you don't care about purging armor like that. Because the reason you wanted to was so you could Magnamon unsuspend and like keep going.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
This is a little different. And I think this is cool because when you Digivolve, you're getting the plus 2k DP. You're going to be 8k just to Flamedramon, not counting your Vmon, which will probably bring you to 10k, and then your Egg bringing you to 11k. So you're going to be seeing 11k, turn, essentially whatever turn you kicked out of raising and swung. 11k check, and they can't block you. Because if they block you, you just unsuspend. And even if they block you and you die, you're like, well, then I get to armor up, and I'm unsuspended, I can keep going.
Yeah, and that Digimon still has...
It still gets the 2k DP, yeah, and that's why it's cool.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because then if you hit something in security that DP reduces or whatnot, you still have a little extra. Obviously, if you hit Heaven's Judgment, you're done.
You're done.
Yeah.
DP minus the true actual problem for armor.
Yeah, that's true. And which always hurt for us as insect players when we had all the piercing and all the shenanigans, and all of a sudden they were like, "Hey, there's armor."
Yep.
So moving on to Lydramon. So this card, honestly, Richard, I'll let you go into this one.
I think this is also very good. Suspends the body. You get the plus 2k until the end of your opponent's turn. Same kind of deal, but it's got piercing. So I think with this, you're going to use it to either suspend something that would stop you from winning the game or getting a check through that you want to get a check through with, or you just use it to suspend the body and just kill it and pierce because you're going to be swinging at, again, as previously discussed, 11k after all your effects, maybe 13k if your first armor got destroyed and you went into a second armor. So it's just good. They're both very, very good in terms of like turbo rushing your opponent down and just kind of haphazardly swinging VMons into security.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if only if they ever get to Magdramon, then that's going to be the only thing ever played.
if we do get a Magnamon in...
Or Magnamon. Did I say Magnadramon?
Yeah.
Well, that would be nice too.
Yeah, if we get a
More
Magnamon
Magnadramons.
in Pauper, it would be scary because then people would start running Awakening the Golden Knight and it'd get wacky.
Yeah, no one wants that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so moving on back to the Wind Guardian. This one does have Avian, which is good. And has on play and when digivolving one of your Digimon with the Wind Guardian trait may unsuspend. So unfortunately, that doesnn't mean Xiang Pengmon. But what you could do is if you had attacked with jamming with your level 3, which chances are you have, then this would unsuspend. And if you have enough memory, you could digivolve up to Xiang Pengmon. And then that attack target wouldn't be able to be changed. So even if you didn't have piercing, you would have the extra security attack. So I think this one's good to an extent.
Yeah.
But Daramon cards have never been truly ever that great. A lot of times there's vanillas or pseudo vanillas. So it's nice that Daramon at least got something. Moving on. Shine has no Marcus and no Shine Greymon. So I'm just going to skip past it. Can't be used. So moving on to another Appmon card. So this one, security Digimon, which is good. It's good that they have that. And then reduces your opponent's security Digimon by 3,000. So if you were able to find a way to play this, I think that would still be really good to link. Can you digivolve on top of Appmon?
Yeah, you can digivolve on top of Atmons. You just can't,
Yeah, because they still count as Digimon.
yeah, you can't link unless it's an Atmon though.
Yes, but then if you digivolve on top of something, does it loses the links?
I think it's. I don't actually know. That I don't know. I haven't looked into that.
Oh boy,
I need to because
stuff's too confusing.
all the Three Musketeers support this time around are Atmons, and
that is the weird part.
Yeah, the new Atmons combined with Three Musketeers, and it's really funny because they actually have like when digivolving, you can go on top of Atmon or Three Musketeer, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah,
I like it. I mean, messing around with the archetype. It's fun. More Shine. So there actually is Rise Greymon for this, but there are no Marcuses. So again, it doesn't work. Gosh, am I happy to say that.
The minute they print an uncommon Marcus, you're gonna be like, no, the world's ending.
No, I'm done with this game. So another Appmon, again, another security one, which is nice. This one has an on-play when digivolving. One of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2,000. Not great. Honestly, I don't think it does. Just 2,000? They're so much better.
Yeah, the fact that you have both the Cyclone Mon from this set or the Geo Greymon that when they get played from security delete 4K bodies, you're like... Ooh.
Yeah, even the Calendamon, it's minus 3. Like, why is this minus 2? That just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bad. Even for Appmon standards. Yeah. Bad. Oh, hey, look. No Marcus. Oh,
no Marcus. We can move past.
I'm so happy to move past that. So the next one is Navimon, another app. Reveal the
it's a
top 3
searcher.
cards of your deck. It's a searcher, which is pretty darn good. But what it is it not a security Digimon like the other ones, which if it was, that would make this card so good. Also because it has link piercing. So it's decently good. But yeah, still can't be played yet. On to the Mushroom-mon. So it's always good in Vegetation, Plant, Fairy to be able to just on play suspend 1 Digimon. That's one of the reasons one would play like Pal X in like insects or whatnot, or just any of those green suspend decks. So this is good, and getting that piercing inheritable off of level 3, I like it a lot.
It's a card that works really well for any type of plant vegetation deck, not only like now but in the future. Like
Yeah.
you would see potentially Bloomlord lists running like maybe 2 of these even.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, definitely.
it's tied to Wood Guardians, Wind Guardians, so it's fine. It's just a funny deck that we don't have like a top line for.
Yeah. Goodness, I really want a Hydramon in this.
No.
So the Woodmon,
I
unfortunately, the same inheritable.
Yeah. So this has the same problem of like jamming, piercing, because you're supposed to mix and match like blue over green or green over blue, so that way you like alternate.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, which I guess works. But then again, then you don't have the top end. So like in Pauper, then you kind of have to pick one or the other, and then you're stuck with the same inheritable, which in Pauper is tough to see.
Oh yeah.
But
it's not great.
At least the alterns it's kind of nice when any of your opponent's Digimon are played. If this Digimon is suspended, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. So, I mean that's decently good if you're getting kind of knocked down, but then just unsuspending this guy, what that maybe saves you an attack, but then I think your opponent would know to attack before playing a Digimon. So I don't think it's a very good one, to be entirely honest.
I look at that card and I'm like, wow, that inheritable potentially would go so hard in Bloomlord. But
Yes.
in Pauper, I'm like
only in Bloomlord.
Yeah.
What is that not? Pauper.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
I think we just move past it.
Yeah.
Maybe when Guardian gets like another line of support or 2, it'll be really spooky in Pauper. But right now, it just feels a little incomplete.
Yeah. So this one would be phenomenal if it was vegetation or plant instead of the Wind Guardian trait.
Yeah.
Because it's basically just old Cherrymon, which is you're going to redirect, which is really nice. And it also has the on play when Digivolving, you may suspend one Digimon. So that's great. And it almost is treating plants, or I guess the plant Digimon, as the insects were in like BT16, where you want them to be suspended. But unfortunately, it has that Wind Guardian kind of gate, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's decently good, but you can't really play it in plants well. So moving on is another Appmon that we can't play. This one, it's kind of nice because it's a pseudo blocker, but your opponent can still attack into your Digimon, but at least they can't attack into players. So it's a stall piece, which is nice, but it's a 1K. But
Yeah.
obviously you link for 2, so it's a good piece.
Yeah.
But can't be played yet. Having another mineral piece though, so this kind of replaces the rare Sunarizamon, but unfortunately Rock and Mineral still doesn't have anything beyond the original Bancho Golemon, which it's so old that it has been completely power crept and doesn't really work with all the new stuff.
Yeah, it's not gonna do a whole lot right now. But it's cool. It's good that it is. I think I'm glad for Minerals in general that it's getting it's like better level 3, but
Oh yeah.
I don't think this is gonna matter too much. Not on
Yeah,
Pauper.
in the future, if we get more rocks and minerals that are common or uncommon, that'd be really great. I was really hoping that the Banjo Golemon that came out recently would have been an uncommon or common, so you could kind of play it that way, but unfortunately you can't because it's a rare. But I mean, I'm happy for my Pyramidimon deck to have more options, but that's kind of rough for Pauper. So moving on to more Vemmons. We should probably just start going quickly. We've been at this for a while. By trashing one card, Vemmon, it's nice, but we don't have Galacticmon, so.
Yeah, it's one of those things where Venmon's on its own, I don't think are gonna amount to a whole lot, but I could be proven wrong. But,
It does have a good inheritable, though. Like, that inheritable is really nice.
Yeah, uh, it is. It's just, again, you don't have like a Galacticmon, so you'd have to figure out a new top end. And unknown wise, if you're like running it like all unknown Digimon to try and keep consistency, you also don't have a proper level 6 because all the unknowns are Diaboras.
But see,
Oh,
you could play it. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
Unidentified.
You could run it with the Destromon, and you could just only run Destromon.
You could just be Destromon dot deck.
Yeah.
It does have
just
protection.
de-digivolve. Yeah, that's true.
So that is potential because of.
But they don't have Zenith though. The tamer.
Yeah.
So that makes it a little worse.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
It might work.
It could be done.
It could be done.
So Greymon reboot inheritable. It is specifically for Tai. There is no Tai that is uncommon, which is nice. Or just making the Greymon archetype too powerful. We don't want that.
I do.
So yeah, it's kind of just I know you do. So it's kind of just adventure, and it makes your opponent attack, and you have reboot. So you try to have some reboot blocker, whatnot. So
Yeah.
it's kind of nice, and it's a dinosaur, so you can't really play it with the dragonkin stuff or the reptile stuff. So
Yeah, it does work with any adventure tamer technically. So there are a couple uncommon tamers in the starter decks you could make use of with this card.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that's
there's
about
two.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that one's kind of nice. And then moving on, as we said, the Snatchmon. So you could play this one. It's pretty good. It's a searcher on play when digivolving. You can grab a Vemmon and trash the others. So it's kind of nice. So you can place ones from the trash. So it's all about just grabbing all those Vemmons.
Yeah. Like, so I'm just going to combine the Ven and the Destromon in terms of, like, as a core, if you were to be playing, like, one of these, you're going to be playing both. Like, the goal of it most likely is that you're going to be playing the full Venmon engine and just trying to slot in the Venmons, take advantage of it. And I think, ultimately, if that is your goal, the Destro is, like, really close to being actually real. When you think about the level 5 would have the Egg Inheritable online, it'd be a 13k body. You can't trash its sources when it digivolves, and you get to de-digivolve for every 2 Venmon you have, and it has protection. It's like actually like a kind of a real level 5. The downside is just you don't have like a great top end maybe you can go into.
Yeah, and the idea with that Snatchmon is that you're trying to really cycle through your deck, and so you're just trashing Vemmons constantly. And you can grab one that has Vemmon in text to your hand, and that's when you grab like a Snatchmon or a Destromon, or maybe just a Vemmon, I guess, so that you're not trashing those level 4s and 5s. But like if you tried to play a level 6, chances are you're probably going to see it in like a Snatchmon search, and it's going to get trashed, which feels bad. So, yeah, if you're not going to run a level 6, I think it's good. So, moving on, finally a Metal Greymon for Pauper, which is rough to see. great for you.
I don't
but,
think it's actually very good. You don't have to worry about it. I don't think it's actually that great.
I mean, it's nice that they got one, but yeah.
I mean, beggars can't be choosers, but also this is kind of stinky for what I think more people would want. The whole point of it is that you need two
You need
tamer
both
colors, yeah, to Digivolve just one level. So like it's not great in terms of like you getting that effect off, and it gives like your other adventure. It gives itself. It has alliances inheritable, and then when one of your other Digimon are played or Digivolve into adventure trait, one of your Digimon can gain alliance, and then one of your Digimon can attack.
I really think the alliance is the big thing here.
Alliance is kind of cool. It does require you having a deck that kind of finds a way to go wide. That is the one thing. So I think you need some of the starter deck stuff to play body so you can go wide. One of the downsides is one of the things that really lets you go wide is the Metal Garurumon, but we won't have access to that because the Metal Guru Ace is obviously an SR.
Yeah, all aces, not in Pauper. Thank goodness.
Pauper.
Yeah. So moving on, finally to purple, our final color, and then I swear we'll go quickly. So this one, it's pretty nice. Getting more Gumdramon support, more Hunters support.
So Hunters is, I think, on this like weird. It's not an amazing deck in Pauper, but it's not bad. And I think
it's definitely a good rogue deck.
Yeah, and the fact that we're getting now a Gumdramon and a new Arrestramon is kind of nice. I don't know if it's gonna like make the deck jump crazy, but it will probably help with some level of consistency, for sure.
Yeah, more support for any archetype is good in Pauper, so I'm happy to see it. It also is obviously made for the hero stuff, but it is Hunters and it gets plus 2,000 DP, which is nice if you're missing some sort of a DP threshold by not having superior mode or any of the other higher end pieces that you'd want in Hunters. So honestly, it's a little surprising to see that the Guilmon actually kind of followed its old. It follows the Guilmon archetype more than it follows the hero archetype, because that on deletion gain 1 memory inheritable, it trashes Guilmon, Growlmon, Gallantmon, or Megidramon that draw 2.
I think this card is going in my Ghoulmon deck as my
100%
new last Guilmon that I'd be running. Just because half the time I don't care what goes in my trash. I can grab a lot of stuff back or play Guilmons out from trash, and it's then the card draw. And half the time I'll eventually delete my stack anyway, or it'll die and I'll get memory. Like, I'm a big fan of this.
But you can't necessarily. Well, I guess it's great for Ghoulmon. When I look at like the other purple decks, like I play a bunch of the purple red or purple Guilmons in my Eismon deck, and this doesn't really help that because you're not trashing anything that helps with like the Eismon package. See, again, ignoring the ban list.
this is a little different. So for Ghoulmon, how my deck is built is it runs the red purple Guilmon lines because they mill both me and my opponent at the same time. So I have access to like all the cards I would want to trash, and it's helping me fill up my trash and also draw through my deck to find pieces. If it dies or if I need to kill it, it'll gain me memory, which is like fine. So like that's why I think it's cool for that deck. I don't know if it'd go in like a lot of other decks, but it's cool for that one.
It's cool for the ghoul, yeah.
Cool for the ghoul.
And moving on to
the Ghostmon.
We got that Ghostmon.
Yeah, it's fine. It's good ghost support. You can run Reapermon as the top end right now for Ghostmon, and Reapermon is actually like kind of a real level 6.
It's good. It's not bad.
No. It's not amazing. It's like downside. Just like better purple decks. But this is still a really good level 3 if that's what you're going to run. it has the important inheritable of gaining a memory on deletion. So when you execute, you get memory, or when you block, you get memory, and reducing your cost by 1. Is just good. It's just good football.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think it's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Impact.
Yeah.
Moving on to the Arrestor Dramon. So this one on play when digivolving, you can play a tamer with the hunter or hero trait. So it is good that you play a tamer. That's always good. The on deletion is great too. You can place a Digimon card with save in its text or the hero trait from your hand or trash under any of your tamers, then save.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that Omni Shoutmon. This card's just good.
It's better in some ways because you can digicross with anything with save. So you can play this on turn 1 for 4 and just drop your tamer if you have it in hand.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
You get a body, you get a tamer, and even if they out it, you're like, it has save anyway. I don't care. Like, you have the good on deletion.
It is a great turn 1.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think for Pauper, it's really good because as much as we joke about, like, tamers not being in this set, or in this format, strangely, hunters got to keep almost all of their tamers except, like, 1. So
yeah,
they're
exactly.
fine.
Yeah, Hunters was always a viable Pauper deck.
Yeah. So they're fine.
Moving on, Garu. So Security Garu, play it out. On play, when digivolving, you may return one Digimon card with the adventure trait from your trash to the hand. When attacking, once per turn, draw 1, trash 1. Decently good. For mill decks, for things when you want to be trashing, Eismon, I think it's a good card.
Yeah, I think the inheritable is better than the on play when digivolving, just because it's so locked into the adventure trait. But I do think when attacking, draw 1, trash 1 is just good. And we've always seen it be maybe too good, and in Bond I have to go back and hit those cards. So while we got it, it's good.
Yeah, like you could trash a Nidhogg, and it's just draw 1, gain a mem, which is good football.
It's good football.
I know you say that a lot, so I'll say it a little bit. Yeah. So moving on to the Growlmon, again, same on deletion, inheritable, gain 1 mem, which is really good. And then also on play, when digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4,000 DP or less. If this effect didn't delete, trash the top 2 cards of your deck. So yeah, it's great for milling.
I like this card a little less because it does not mill your opponent at the same time, like the other red-purple Growlmon cards do. So that's my big
that's true.
That card
but it does give another decent option for the purple-red Growlmon X to go on top of.
It does, but I don't think you'd be combining these together.
Yeah. Well, okay. That's fair.
Yeah. But it's fine. It's not bad. I prefer other options.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
I'm gonna be real. This coolest Gamon, we could just skip over. It's got a security effect, which is cool. Then you get to place Gamon from hand or trash as bottom booster force to delete a level 4 or lower. So it's basically just there to delete level 4 Digimon and then give your body retaliation. But it's still tied to the Gamon line that I don't think you're gonna do a whole lot with.
Yeah, there's just no top end.
Yeah.
Okay, another Appmon. So again, security, which we see in a majority of the Appmons. The art,
but it's got
recursion.
Like it a lot.
I think it's funny.
Yeah.
Recursion.
It's
Recursion's good,
which is cool. The downside of it is that it's recursion for only Appmon. So.
And I think that's also an issue because they already have recursion in their option cards, I believe.
I think the bigger issue is just like we just don't have enough Appmon yet.
Yeah.
That's fair. If we were playing with all Appmon cards available, it'd be a little bit better. But like obviously in Pauper, I think it's just a little rough. But I think it is one of the better Appmon cards so far. I will say that.
Yeah. Well, then we'll just jump right into the next one, which is basically just Appmon Beelzemon. Although, again, a level 4. And it's for 3 Musketeers, which is strange. by placing one
Yeah.
card with Appmon or 3 Musketeer traits from your hand or trash as one of your Digimon's bottom Digivolution cards, gain a mem.
Yeah, it's really good for 3 Musketeers. Again, 3 Musketeers doesn't have like a top line you can use in Pauper. It's a cool card. The when linking draw to trash to is also gonna probably be very, very good in the future at some point. But it's it is effectively an Atmon card right now, and in Pauper a little bit less of a 3 Musketeer card since 3 Musketeers you don't really like have a top line.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah.
To say the least. So it's strange that Skull Greymon is tied in with the adventure trait stuff.
Don't you remember in the anime
really,
when Tai messes up?
oh, I know, but it's
Yeah.
just like, it should, the adventure trait Digimon and the Tamers, that's all their happy moments. It shouldn't just be like, oh, and here's the Skull Greymon as well to just add to the adventure package.
I mean,
I feel like it's almost like an anti-adventure package. Do you feel?
I'm a fan of Skull Greymon, so I'm most excited to see it. I wish I liked this card
Oh, same.
more. It is kind of cool in that the idea of it is that you generally give itself raid retaliation when you digivolve into it, and you just have it swing into a body, raid. If it dies, you didn't play out a level 4 or less from trash. So that's cool. The downside is it is locked to adventure trait, so you have to be playing it with the adventure trait Digimon.
Yeah, and the inheritable doesn't really help you out there because you're not going to be having. Chances are, if you have a level 6, you're probably not playing like a full adventure line anyway.
Yeah. I will say that I do think this is kind of a cool card in regards of it lets you out things that maybe your deck might not be able to out normally because raid retaliation is going to out a body. In Pauper, where there's not access to a lot of like protection, when you swing into a body, it is going to die.
Yes, although something that is really good to note is that it's undead. And there is a lot of undead support. So what you can do is just straight up on play when digivolving, one of those gets raid retaliation. And then you don't necessarily have to worry about making sure you have that tucked in as a different inheritable from your different undead, dark animal, however you're running, like Pheromon or Skull Mammoth.
Skull Mammoth, yeah.
So, yeah, I think that part of it for that deck is good.
Yeah.
But then you're not going to use the inheritable.
No.
So, yeah, moving past that to the War Growlmon, it's pretty nice. Trash the top 2 cards of your deck. Granted, again, you're not milling your opponent at the same time, but then it gains raid and retaliation, which I guess is those two are just linked forever now for so many of these.
So this card is strangely, when I look at it, feels a little worse than the Skull Greymon in terms of you don't get like a on deletion. Because the idea of the deck is that like you give raid retaliation, you win attack, you warp into Megatramon Chaos Gallant. The downside is that we do not have access to a Megatramon or Chaos Gallant in Pauper, so you will never get the second effect. I do think the inheritable is cool. The inheritable of when this dies, your opponent trashes their top security, but it just feels like in this scenario somehow like a worse Skull Greymon, which is weird to say.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Oh yeah, that like if you did have the Chaos Gallant or the Megidramon just like end of turn like
it's not
calling from darkness, gain like 3 mem to just like trash your opponent's security and then like gain more mem and then keep going with your turn like
it'd be really cool.
Or not end of turn, like right before your turn, like, if you're at like 0.
Well and half the time Megidramons will play out Gyum online and just like let you keep going. So
yeah. That'd be fun. So our last Digimon. Wow, we've been going for way too long. And then our option cards. So on play, delete when digivolving, it's a Weregaru. Delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon if your tamers have 2 or more colors. So it's the same as the Metal Greymon. You basically have to have both of. You want to be seeing both of the tamers, the dual tamers from the starter decks, which will show for 2 seconds. We will not discuss them at all. But it's basically just going to be adventure shenanigans in Jedi's house. So it's nice. It's the Alliance as well. It's basically the same exact card.
Yeah, it's fine. It
not
still
when
does the
Digimon.
alliance thing. It's still when you play a body, you give something alliance that can attack. I think, man, I'm torn on it. There's times where I think the metal gray Digivolve is really good because Digivolve is just so strong. But in a Pauper format, I think if you have enough colors, the deletion effect might be just better outright. But
Yeah, that's totally fair.
yeah,
Yeah, Digivolve is better, but yeah, because a lot of times you want to, if people want their stuff deleted, well, that's not going to help you out. So moving on quickly through our option cards, there's only a couple.
I was gonna
of
say
them.
we can actually skip through a lot of these because they will not come up if you want to. So the quick one is the Gamamon one, probably not going to come up. It does let you search for Gamamon cards, but again, you Digivolve one of your Digimon cards with Gamamon and text, with like a Gamamon card. It's not. Again, I don't think you have enough Gamamon cards to truly make it worthwhile. And you do require the effect to place the Digimon card under your Digimon, which you're not going to have as many of those because you do not have access to Hero. Like the hero that lets you do that for free, like the old hero. So
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the problem. Spirit Evolution.
And same with like the Spirit Evolution.
Not going to matter because you do not
Unplayable.
have access to Inherited Tamers. So you do get to, draw 2 cards. But like, again, you don't have Inheritable Tamers. It's not going to come up.
Yeah, that's true.
They can't turn my back. Probably will come up though.
Yes,
Place all Digimon cards.
I believe it will.
In one of your crossheart trait Digimon's Evolution cards under one of your Tamers, then you may play one Digimon card or crossheart trait from your hand with the play cost reduced for 1 for each of this card's effect. This card's kind of interesting because if you have like if you've been going like early in the game and you've just been like playing wide bodies while trying to get Tamers out, and you finally did get a Tamer and you just have like 3 or 4 bodies out. Or like, I'm sorry, no, I mean like you've crossed already. Like you've crossed like 4 or crossed 5'd, and then you can't turn back, and you slot in like those 4 or 5 bodies underneath a Tamer, and then you play a guy and then Digicross. You will probably play it for free.
Yeah.
Even if you're missing a piece. Like if you only have 4 pieces, you're cross 5, you're effectively playing it for free because that 2 cost is going to reduce it by a huge amount. You're paying 2 to reduce it by a lot. But it does mean you can also...
Yeah, I could definitely see this as like a 2 of.
It's interesting because it does let you... It lets you pick and choose how many inheritables you want to put in if you feel like you don't need to put that many in when you're doing this. Which is kind of interesting. And then security effect is cool where it lets you play a crossheart trait card with play cost 5 or less from your hand or trash. So that means it can play a Tamer or it can play any of your level 4s or lower.
Yeah.
So
that part is nice.
It's a real card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Raging Serpent one, it's kind of playable. Well, actually, I'd say it's
playable.
Decently playable.
It's no different than playing like Gaia Force or Trident Gaia in some ways. The difference is it's closer to playing Trident Gaia because it's based on highest DP and not Gaia Force where you get to pick. But it does have an extra effect, so whenever your opponent's security stack is removed, you can play a reptile, or one of your reptile or dragonkin Digimon can Digivolve without paying the cost.
Which is a really good delay.
I think that's pretty good delay. And then the fact that this card can also be reduced by 4 if your opponent has 3 security is also kind of real, because essentially having a Trident Gaia for 4, which is actually really good when you think about that. And security effect is still good. Delete your opponent's highest DP Digimon. That's probably the problem. You want deleted anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So for red option, I think it's fine. I think it's good.
Yeah. There's just so many red options. It's like, it's a good red option. This one. So you don't have Davis.
You don't have Davis, but it still searches for an armor piece, which is cool.
Oh yeah.
The reason I like it is when your armor is trashed, right? When your top armor gets wrecked, you can digivolve into an armor immediately without paying the cost. So if it's your opponent's turn, they're like, all right, I'm gonna crush that armor. They crush armor near me, they're like, don't worry, I'm actually now this armor immediately. So now it's even harder to out me because I also got an extra 2k DP again.
Yeah, it kind of makes it to where like originally before this card came out, I was like, okay, eventually I will play armor texture, and now it's like, wait, do I even need to?
Yeah, it's interesting. The downside of the search is just that you do have to trash whatever you don't grab from your search. So that's like the only like
Yes.
thing that's a little rough. It probably doesn't matter too much, but I do think the payoff of like letting your board be a little stickier with like armors is pretty good.
Yeah. So moving on, this is a card, as I mentioned at the very beginning on that blue egg, that I was very mad about because that right there is Refleximon. We've gotten one copy of her, which I think, granted, great card. I played a one of in Grandis. I definitely won games with it because it's a one Evo on top of any level 6. But the fact that they had the audacity to show her on a card,
One day.
oh, that hurts.
One day.
One day.
But this card is kind of like the Deep Saviors or Nature Spirits or Nightmare Soldiers card, where it replaces a card in your security, it stays face up, and while it's face up, it gives all your Digimon of that trait something. So for this one, it gives Wind Guardians Vortex, which that's kind of cool. Vortex letting you attack Digimon at the end of turn, even if you've been played this turn. The downside of it is like it feels weird in a deck that doesn't have Alliance and doesn't seem to have really big DP.
It's weird.
That's
It's
why
like, why Vortex?
that's I mean Vortex because I guess it's I don't know
Sure.
birds
Wind.
and that was
I guess.
yeah my big issue with it is that like you have piercing so I can kind of understand that but you're not like your DP isn't huge. And you have jamming, which doesn't matter when you're swinging into a Digimon. So that's my only gripe with it, is it feels a little weird. So I don't care for this card that much.
Yeah.
It's not
I just
really looking at it.
it was really funny because when this first got revealed, shout out to our friend Marvin. I believe it was Marvin. It was like, oh no, there's an there's a Vidramon on there, like, you know, but we're not getting support for Vidramon. This is unfair. I'm like, you want to look like 1 centimeter higher at that Refleximon right there.
The Vidramon,
It might have been Marv. If it wasn't, well, sorry, Marv.
no, the Vidramon will get support literally in the next set.
Yeah.
We
It's
know.
like,
We know.
I was like, are you kidding me? The Refleximon.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think it's that amazing of a card. I could be proven wrong, and someone will figure out like a sick way to make a deck with like Alliance and other wackiness, and maybe
Yeah.
it's good in like actual Wind Guardians where you have like an actual top end. But for now, I'm just like, eh.
Yeah. Oh, hey, look, Marcus. Bye, Marcus.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything. Yay.
Just Marcus being a masochist. Love to see it.
Yeah.
So then this one is the app link, which is pretty good.
It's
Again,
it's
if
good.
Appmon works.
Yeah, like it
It's
lets
just
you search.
not yet.
Yeah, it lets you search, and the end of turn delay lets you link for free, which is great.
Yeah.
Again, we need Appmon to have a little more support for it to be, I think, Pauper viable. But this card will be amazing when that is the case.
In the future.
Yeah, in the future, it'll be amazing.
Yeah. So that does wrap up everything for BT. Oh my gosh, no, it
there's
doesn't.
3 more
There's 3
cards.
more cards.
But quickly to go through.
I
To
tried.
help you out. Ragnarok Cannon's not going to matter because you don't have a Galactic Mon you can play. So it does delete the lowest play cost Digimon, but then you don't get its delay effect, which it's kind of expensive to use that card and not get the effect.
Yeah, that's true.
Cross Up is, I think, still worth it, though, for the Hunter deck. You place one Digimon card with save in its text from your hand or trash under any one of your tamers. Then when your Digimon may digivolve into a card with save or text in its trash. So it lets you pay 1
For
to put something under a
1,
tamer.
2.
And then you can digivolve, and then you immediately got a Digimon underneath a thing, so you can immediately reduce the cost. And you also get to digivolve into something from trash. So it
The
just
security
kind
effect's good too.
waits
It's
for-
play one. It's not as good as some of the other as some of the cross heart stuff, where it's just like for reduced play cost, I believe. It's for a play cost of 5 or less from your hand. A trash part being really nice too, and then added to the hand too.
I mean, this is effectively the same. It's the same as like that's
Yeah.
how the same as like the other crosshair stuff. It just plays something for 5 or less. Yeah, it's so different.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
The OG drawing of Guilmon.
Yeah. Draw one, trash one. That's a good effect. It's fine. When effects delete Digimon, and it's pretty broad. Any Digimon. One of your Digimon with Guilmon or Groundmon its name may evolve into Groundmon, Galamon, or Megidramon. It's okay. You obviously don't have access to a Galamon or a Megidramon, so it lets you go up the line for the Guilmon line, up to Growl or War Growl, but besides that, it's not doing a whole lot. So I think it's not really worth it.
Or the X antibodies.
That you don't need to. You're not paying cost for that.
If they were in trash, hear me out.
Sure. Sure.
It is weird that it's a security gain 1 mem then place in the battle area. It's like, okay, that's nice.
I mean, that part actually is good. But like,
It's always good. Yeah.
I-
Gaining mem on your opponent's turn, always good.
yeah, I don't think it's that amazing of a card though.
No.
No.
Great art.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That
Okay,
is-
so now we are done with booster set 21, and we will quickly, for gosh, even 5 seconds each, look at these starter decks. So this is what you're getting if you want to play Adventure. They basically all just help out Adventure. There's Alliance and random stuff. But the big thing is going to be your Tamers. So there's one in each of them that is uncommon. In this one, it's Sora and Kari, and it's just going to be gaining a mem, start a turn. And then also just random shenanigans throughout all of them. The options are decently good.
Yeah, it's because the Archers United lets you draw cards. That's cool. That's not really why I would want to play it. But the all turns delay is whenever you're level 5 or higher would leave the battle area. You can play a level 5 or lower with Adventure Trait from your hand.
Yeah.
And
Honestly, the one that excites me the most is in the other deck.
Not Island of Adventure?
We can go back to that. So Island of Adventure is nice. So it gives all your level 3 or higher Digimon plus 2,000 while it's in security, which is nice. I don't know. I like the Gen I's house one, which is all of your level 3 or higher get plus 3,000.
Yeah, but you could run both.
And then certainly. You certainly would, because I think you can only play them if you have a white tamer, which you don't. You can only play them if you don't already have one in there.
You have no face-up Genai's House security cards, you can ignore those cards' color requirements. So as long as you only have one of each, you can put them both in security, ignore the color requirements. So you could build Rookie Rush, where your level 3s are plus 5k DP in security.
Oh yeah.
Or plus 5k.
Yeah, that's exactly how I was thinking it. Yeah. I like it.
It's funny.
Rookie Rush, it's back.
Yo, that Bushy Agu's gonna go hard.
I was just about to say that Bushy for 12,000 DP.
He's swinging.
Dude. Yeah, I was about to say Bushy. I mean, you beat me to the punch.
I mean, that's like the classic vintage
Bushy for game.
Rookie Rush. Yeah.
Yeah, for those of us who are around for that awful period of time in this game, it's a great time, actually.
Yeah, I will say the one thing this does add, and I do think this is the one thing I'd like to bring up about the adventure decks, is that they give both blue and green, regardless if you're playing adventure or not, they do get a new floodgate for each. And I think that's something, the one thing I think worth talking about, which is blue gets a Goemon that your opponent can't gain memory other than by tamer effects. And then the Tentomon gets your opponent can't reduce the evolution costs. The tamer one, that can't gain memory other than by tamer effects, I think does come up actually surprisingly more than one would think in
Mm-hmm.
Pauper, because a lot of people are playing purple decks that run Deathslinger and other shenanigans because they're just milling themselves. Or like
Yeah, or those Guilmons.
Guilmons, or you're talking about Needhog before, something like that. That's a good one. And then opponent can't reduce Digivolution costs. That's just good in general. We talked about the Digimon egg that is reducing it for Reptile Dragonkin. You have Hunters, which reduces Digivolution costs. That's just also good. And in general, this will be good in like normal Digimon as well. Like you gave Insect and you gave Aquatic an inline like Floodgate. Or I'm sorry, it's Sea Beast technically.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
But, it's all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to see adventure. I don't want to see someone showing up with an adventure deck in Pauper.
Hey,
also, I think if they give more stuff for it in the future, then maybe if they give a level 6 that works with it, sure.
I think
you don't have one currently.
I think someone will show up with it. I think someone will. I don't know how well it'll do, but I'm curious because I think it probably will work. It feels clunky because like you are missing like half your tamers, and
and I know who would try to do it.
No, I have 2 people in mind who would do it at our locals. For sure.
Exactly. Yeah. But anywho, so that really does wrap up this whole. Oh, was that over an hour? My goodness.
Yeah.
Our apologies.
Escapade of going through everything. A little wordy.
Yeah, I'll definitely. That's. Hopefully in the future we don't sit on the first card, which is an egg, for like 10 minutes.
Maybe we'll have to condense into like the top 10 cards we would like from this set for Pauper. Maybe just condense it to like the true bangers only.
No.
No?
All vanillas count.
All vanillas count, bruh.
No, I will make sure. I mean, there weren't even any vanillas.
No.
My goodness. Like, what happened to vanillas?
Digimon doesn't have time for vanillas anymore. Power Creep said no.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Man, nothing like a good one-cost Digivolution vanilla. Bring me back.
No, we've moved past that now. Your one costs now have really good inheritables.
Yeah, I know.
like the Nature Spirits dinosaur that's a 1 cost that gives piercing.
Gross.
I love that guy.
Yeah, love to see it.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for listening to us rant about this. And remember what we brought up at the beginning, put in the comments what your favorite deck is and what your villain deck is. So from us here at Kabuteri Cafe, peace out.
Later, guys.